Hello, and welcome to the inaugural HR Sports field trip episode. We're going to do some fielding and some tripping. Oh my God, there he goes. I didn't even see him, I never do. They're so crazy. I hope I got that. It's dusk. I guess there was a crane over there. Anyway, let me fix my hat slightly. I want to look like Bob Irwin here. Okay. Man, I was hanging out over here for a long ass time. I didn't see that. Um, I was down by the creek. I moved up here for sound purposes. Anyhow, it is Tuesday night. The Nuggets are playing the T Wolves. They've come back from a 2-0 deficit. Now the series is tied up. Joker has since been named MVP for the third time. And perhaps the Anthony Edwards era has not yet begun. Um, but really it has. The dude just looks good. I love my Joker. I live an hour north of Denver, full disclosure. But Anthony Edwards looks great. He looks like LeBron. He looks like Michael. He looks like Len Bias, who could have had a great career. You have a struggle. Is that song about him? Boy with the Arab Strap. Um, that album, the first song, is what I'm referencing, people. If you don't know about Bell and Sebastian, listen to Bell and Sebastian. They're very good. One of my faves. And I told my GF a funny story about how I was somewhere, some other college campus, like Penn State when I lived there or something. And someone was like, yeah, everyone's into Bell and Sebastian. And I thought I was unique. And so it was sad when I was not unique in liking Bell and Sebastian. But that's beside the point. This is a channel about sports, not necessarily about sports, but just about the things in sports, just the people, because I don't care. I watched the highlights of the game yesterday for the Nuggets and the T Wolves, and I couldn't even follow the highlights. I just don't care. Like, I'm too scatterbrained to follow the highlights for basketball. And I remember I went out for basketball in 11th grade. People at my school were nice. Basketball is a really mean sport. Like, it's just in the nature of it. I always thought I liked basketball. I like shooting hoops. That's what I determined. And so, anyhow, Joker's going to take care of business tonight. It is an 8:30 game. That puts them at quite the disadvantage. And I feel like, you know, they should be at a disadvantage. We're the better team. You typically, that's just a duck, bird landing over there. You typically get an advantage when you're the better team. And it's crazy how stacked Minnesota is. It's like a team you would build on a video game. Like, dude, your team has Rudy Gobert and Carl Anthony Towns. How do you afford the salary cap? It's like, oh, our best player is this like rookie number one overall pick. It's just kind of ridiculous. But three players don't make a team. You look around, they have a well-rounded team, and they're due. It's not like the NFL where franchises just suck for eternity. Like in the NBA, they get their due eventually. Although lately, like, I'm not a sports or rigged type of person, although I'm kind of a sports or rigged type of person. And the thing is, you get the Bucks and the Cavs and the Raptors, and it's just like The Warriors have always sucked. You make them a dynasty. Like, I wonder if there is some organization to all this. And the alarming amount of lineage players, especially on the Warriors there, but just like players who are children of former players, and I feel like they're clued off to some of the stuff, the inside basketball stuff that comes with playing professionally, and it's just not fair. You know, I feel like you get these guys who are like not even one percenters, like 0.5 percenters, very rare athletes. You get into the highest level where it's like it's almost a wash because of everybody's skill level, and you're just like, all right, who's gonna be the tough guy and elbow this dude in the neck? I mean, and if you followed NBA basketball, watch LeBron's teams, there's always a dude that they bring off the bench that must just piss the other team off because all they are is an assassin. They come in to like push a guy who's been guarding LeBron or something. So dumb. But it's weird. Like, I don't personally like LeBron James very much. It's just it's what how he treated the Undertaker. No, it's who cares? I don't know anything about him. But I've always just rooted for him because he's the best player. And that's as simple minded as I am, that's what I like. Like, I just want the best player to win a bunch of games, you know? And it's funny. More dogs. To say sports are rigs. Sports are rigged because the amount of number one picks who've been awful, complete draft busts. You can just look at Cleveland as an example. Although, way to go, Wiggins. Way to win your championship the other year. Like, what, the year before last? Like, I went to the championship parade last year for the Nuggets. I saw Jokic, I saw Murray. It was actually really exciting. And I didn't get to go to the Super Bowl parade because my boss at the time was not cool with it. It's a long story. But and the hockey parade, I was just like, man, I don't really know what these guys look like. I'm super glad they won the championship. I had gone to an Avs playoff game years ago when they had gotten out of a playoff drought, and so I was happy for them, but I couldn't bring myself to go to a game. I heard some press coverage of it. Sounds like they included a few other local champions in the parade. But the Nuggets parade was great. Denver did a good job. They had, you could buy a drink. Like, they have places right on the street, like, hey, do you want to get a beer, alcoholic beverage? Right here, you can buy one, you can drink it on the street. I just rode into downtown. It was right there where the parade was. Like, I got parking 4 blocks away. I was right off the interstate. And I think they wanted like 20. And I was like, that's fine. And I got my bike off the back of my car and I rode it to the railroad bridge. It's like the bridge over the tracks, and it had like a little track on the side for my bike. And then once I got to where I was going, I just stashed it because it was kind of an odd looking bike. And I never put anything past Denver, but there's just so many people, and I put it behind some tables. There's a lot of like hotel-y type catering crap all around. And I sort of said something to a worker there. I'm like, hey, I'm going to set this here. And they're like, oh, yeah, no, go ahead. So anyway, it was a great parade. Never been to anything like that. It's why I moved to Colorado, is things like that. I mean, right when we moved here, the local football team, the Broncos, went to a Super Bowl. And it was the one versus Seattle. It was so terrible. What an awful night. What a terrible night, and that where we watched it sucked too. So it was just like the same conversation over and over again. And that first snap, it was the weirdest, shittiest Super Bowl I'd ever seen in my life. I can't believe Peyton Manning like got back there and won. It just is mind-boggling. In Fort Collins, I live near a lot of hospitals and nursing homes, and the police stations right down there. Anyway, but yeah, it's crazy the sports situation here. I'll say this: I've been to the Rockies games. I'm mostly amenable. I gotta go to a night game, and I feel like I'd even be more into the baseball scene because the sun. Whew. Like I watched a video about I believe it was the Rangers' old stadium. They built it incorrectly, and the way the sun hit the stadium, you could not play there during the day. And they built a new one right next to it, like not that long after that. The sun here is brutal. It is your best friend, though. Like I hate it in some ways, like shining in side window of my car late in the day. But it's like the reason the air is so great and the weather's so great. Like it's just perfect. And so, um, I don't want to hate on the sun or whatever. But when you're at the baseball park to watch a game sitting there, I mean, you might have to adjust where you're sitting. Um, from my recollection, you're moving higher up in the stadium in those cheap seats. Uh, my lady and myself, we would always try to end up in the rock pile, which there is someone watching it, but it's also cheap seating. And so sometimes you can just sneak in there. They still try to gouge you on it. Like it's not the cheapest, but it's the outfield seating. And for some reason, it's good sun wise because you're facing home plate. But the ballpark's great. They built a bar in the outfield, and everyone got upset because the idea of just being a bar basically connected to a baseball field. The bar is the best part. You just buy a crap ticket and go hang out at the bar. It is a pretty good view from up there, and you're shielded from the sun. Like, drinks really aren't that bad. And I mean, figure it out. Um, like when I am able to drink, I drink tequila. Do a few shots of tequila before you go in. 3 to be exact. No, just like a shot or two on some lime. And now here's the sneaky detail. And I wonder how many other ballparks do this. When you go to Coors Field, you can take food. So don't buy their food. It's just going to be hot dogs and stuff. I love ballpark food. I really do. And it's kind of nice to just buy it because it's overpriced. It's bad for you. There's a luxury to it. It's just nice. I love hot dogs at the ballpark, whatever they do. They probably like put them in sugar water or something that simple. And whatever it is, I love it. Giant pretzels, dig it. Not a beer drinker anymore at the ballpark. Won't do it. I can't remember what it is. I get almost everywhere will get you an old fashioned of some kind. Rum and cokes and stuff, a little bit. Margaritas, a little bit. But just man, if you just do some tequila, and you'll be fine. Take a sack lunch into the ballpark. Make yourself a ding dang fancy PB and J or two. Um, but yeah, they let you bring in food. They're totally cool with it. Um, Denver is just so dangerous now. I haven't been down there for a while. I believe the last game I went to, the lady didn't want to go because she doesn't care about the baseball scene at all. And I don't either, but it's just the environment. And so I went by myself to a game, and it's weird. Um, you you notice people so much more when you're not distracted by your own company. You look at other people's stupid groups of friends and stuff. Other people miserable at the ballpark. I mean, nobody's into it. I remember I went to a game. I believe it was Nolan Arenado hit like a walk-off home run, and I was like, man, that's cool that I went to a game where that happened. But like being there in person, I like saw it on the replay. I'm sorry, I just didn't care that much. I just told you the basketball highlights were entertaining, or weren't able to keep my attention very well. But yeah, I went to Gary Kubiak's last game at the stadium there for the Broncos. I mean, the team's been sold and the identity has definitely changed. Once they get that new stadium rolling and stuff, they'll be due for a good run there for a minute. Bo Nix might be fine, but I don't care. It's all just like made up Madden names at this point. Like it's like when I'd play like 17 seasons and I'd draft like all these crazy offensive weapons in the first round and it'd be like made up names and I'd be like I've got Knicks and I've got this wide receiver in the first round named Hicks whose speed is 99 and catches like 72. And then you're like I drafted a running back in the third round named Blix. And like if you're like me, and it was Madden '08 that got me, and my nephew, who was like, I've never heard of quarterback 99. That was like before I was born. It's like, yeah, settle down, Michael. Um, but I played quarterback 99, but then much later on the Wii, I got addicted to Madden 2008, and I played Madden 2008. I mean, to the extent where, and I think it was part of an alcohol addiction at the time. I would drink 6 packs of like IPA, and I would chain smoke. I don't do either anymore. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't drink IPAs. I think there's a connection there. But man, I would just play Madden 2008 so much. And one day, I pulled the CD out of the Wii and I bent it. I was like, no more. I can't do it. It's a Festivus for the rest of us. Anyway, I'd like to thank the two chatters. Could you guys communicate a little bit if you're able to say hello? It's good to have two people in here. I appreciate it. I'm wearing a funny hat today. The reason is I wear it all the time to protect me from the sun. It's funny because I didn't wear it today and mistake turned red. I'm looking super Iowa-ish. Anyway, I made chili today. I've gone over the 16-minute mark, which is my standard. I'm gonna go in and eat the chili, which it was atomic, and now I'm like I'm gonna have to reheat it. That's crazy, but I made it myself. You know, I used cans and stuff, but of not of chili, but cans of beans. Made a couple burger patties, cut up some fresh veggies. That's what you gotta do, and then just get seasoned friggin' beans, whatever. But don't buy chili in a can. Even when I was a kid, I was like, Hormel sucks. Anyway, that's my thoughts for today. I'll talk to you later.